Morning and welcome to our live stream service. Behind the scenes, in her customary expert fashion, Ange is making sure everything Zoom related works and hopefully continues to work as it should. I thank her. In the opening music track, you heard Tim and Neil Finn from New Zealand off their 2005 album, Everyone Is Here. Offer a song of resilience, so vital in these uncertain times, a song of commitment. But commitment to what? Marriage? Family? A relationship? I'm going out on a limb and want to apply it to membership of our small community, as that certainly touches on family and relationships. What does it mean when you promise someone, once in a while I return to the fold, even if time is just a flicker of light, when you're born with a name, when you carry it on. The right time, the right place, a chance is made or lost, because everyone I love is here. It means that I won't give in. Those of you who have read my reflection piece in the August issue of Templar Talk will know that I broached the subject of the TSA's member number. In brief, from July 2000, when we notched up 610, to the recent conclusion of the financial year, a period of 20 years, I've seen our tally fall to its current level of 445, a drop of some 27%. Should this downward trend continue unabated, as 2 decades of data certainly suggests, what will our future look like? Going back further in time, while likely pointing to more damning statistics, in my opinion, introduces too many other factors, making any direct analysis less reliable. I acknowledge we are an ageing community, but express deep concern at the possibility of a looming crunch time. When do we fall below a critical mass, making continuation of our service delivery and community life too hard? While it isn't cause for alarm just yet, bearing in mind our German counterparts have only about a quarter our number, I think it deserves some attention. For a faith community that espouses freedom of religious thought, we quite rightly do not overtly push membership. Of course it's encouraged, but we don't proselytise, convincing people to join, and nor do we evangelise, telling others what to believe in order to convert them. By making a voluntary decision to commit, we can assume any new member has thoroughly considered the step owing to their convictions. There is no birthright to membership, just as you don't marry into the community. Every individual contemplating an application declares their agreement with the aim and endeavours of the TSA. So what are they signing up for? We believe in a commitment to contribute to the growth of a more harmonious world, and that the best way to achieve this is when people work cooperatively to care for the well-being of others. Not surprisingly, it's a community and a real sense of community that is central to all we do and aspire to. Some say we should automatically make the confirmants members, despite this contradicting our free-thinking position on faith, something we actually teach them during the lessons. Others believe that membership could be a default position, with those not comfortable opting out, or that all associated with TTHA, our aged care facility, should be counted as members. All noble strategies to lift that magic number, but what would it actually achieve? A greater level of involvement? A stronger commitment? More spirit and willingness to contribute? I can't see it. I asked my daughter Monica to record hymn number 45, I Know Where I'm Going. You may not have the words, but they'll come up on the screen next to Monica playing at her place. So over to you, Ange, for that recording. Thanks to Monica. You can see the relief on her face when she gets to the end. Quite a difficult piece. I think of the first verse of the hymn, Pass It On, and it's showing now on your screens. We certainly want to pass it on, but to whom? Here I turn to the words of the former Temple Society president and regional head in Germany, Peter Lange, as he wrote in his Templer Handbuch. It was translated as the Templer Handbook in 1992. Who, when asked why he advocates membership, answered as follows. My initial answer is for the concern that the Templar thoughts and ideas expressed in a progressive Christian context are not lost, but preserved and spread. My August Templar Talk article also referenced a long, largely instrumental piece by an English rock band comprising David Gilmour, Nick Mason, Roger Waters and the late Richard Wright, which includes this verse, and Ange has just popped it up on the screen. Strangers passing in the street, by chance two separate glances meet. And I am you, and what I see is me. And do I take you by the hand and lead you through the land and help me understand the best I can? Roger Waters, the band's lyricist, stated this was an attempt to describe, and I quote, the potential that human beings have for recognising each other's humanity and responding to it with empathy rather than antipathy. That potential has remained unexpressed, suffocated by ambition, by the pursuit of success, power and money. The whole song is an invitation to seek what's essential, to target the sharing, the solidarity, the abandon of our individualism. Two strangers realising they are a single subject and living a reality that should put aside our selfishness. We are talking about searching for universal empathy. In the early verses, we talk about human existence, where everyone is asking questions and where someone tries to find the light, the answers. We are all equal, no matter what. We are leaves of the same tree. You just need to have an open mind and a free will. End of quote. We offer a free will and an openness in faith expression. Is that enough of a spark? Perhaps I am, as they say, preaching to the choir. But again, now from Peter Lange. He says, even if you have not understood fully what is being said about faith and religion, if you sense being in the company of sincere people and that the vision for a just, compassionate world in harmony with our environment, achieved through community connections, if you sense that the vision is worthwhile, why not be prepared to join? And Peter then lists three reasons and meanings. To him, it means I become aware I don't live from within myself, but that I owe my existence to a force which is beyond my sensual perception. It means I'm not only available for myself and my family, but also for others. It means I want friends for life who understand me and will always stand by me. It means I want to help the growing generation to find the way to a life filled with meaning. It means I consider the teachings of Jesus as more important than the teachings about him. Finally, Peter writes, it means I am free in my perception of God and not tied down by fixed creeds and dogma. It is customary to ask what one gets when signing up for something. In joining the TSA, you have the privilege of paying an annual contribution, a nominal amount in recent years, so that limited finances are not a barrier to joining. You also have the privilege of being added to a lawn mowing or coffee serving roster, of being selected on a volunteer committee to serve on. I think you get the picture. It's what you put in that is a measure of what you get out. We look to treat others as we would like them to treat us. How else can a more compassionate world be achieved with society living in harmony? A few years ago, in a talk on how beliefs can get in the way of faith, social researcher Hugh Mackay spoke at a forum in Canberra about the constant desire for happiness and the me society. I quote from Hugh Mackay, Australians think they are entitled to become more prosperous and that it is all about me. If they are not happy, then invariably the response is to go out and buy some material item. This is not real happiness, and increasing numbers of particularly younger Australians understand this. They are asking more questions on spirituality than ever, but still search for the values of love thy neighbour taught by the different religions. Although young people may not be drawn to churches, many still believe there is a spiritual dimension and that all are connected as one. They believe they could aspire to something bigger than themselves. There is also a rise in non-religious spirituality, in the context of our persistent desire for a sense of meaning and purpose. That's the end of Hugh Mackay's quote. In the Temple Society, we're good at looking after our own. Yet, how well do we look out for the other? And who is the other? For good reason, the TSA initially, and for many decades following, was inward looking. It needed to rebuild a foundation, reactivate itself, and recreate community. In more recent times, Champion, our emergency food relief network, caters for those in need, irrespective of their background or circumstance. Monthly statistics kept count about 300 people supported every month. This is outreach, sitting comfortably beside our vision for justice and compassion by means of community. But which community? Our community? We are at ease with those familiar and like-minded. Yet, what of outsiders? I believe we tend to treat others a little suspiciously, perhaps even questioning their motives, if they inquire about or look to participate in our community. Previously, young people looking to join were accused of seeking a subsidised loan to buy their first car. Older people of just wanting to get on the waiting list for admission to the Altersheim. Not really very inviting, accommodating, or fair. Is this what holds us back? Are we open to fresh blood and new faces? Have people approached us only to turn away? I think of the original Templars almost 160 years ago. They had the courage of their convictions, rejecting the state church in Germany, or it rejected them, striving for God's kingdom and his justice. They combined in seeking to be the best that they could be, and thereby make the world a better place. Their vision attracted interest and commitment, and we are blessed by that legacy. According to Hugh van Cuylenburg, founding director of the Resilience Project, there are 3 central principles to resilience and finding happiness: gratitude, empathy, and mindfulness, GEM. He says to be grateful, pay attention to what you've got, rather than what you haven't. Is it that we are so involved in yesterday and tomorrow that we never even notice that today is slipping by? As Jim Elliot once said, I found that on the internet, I'm not sure who Jim Elliot actually is, but he said, wherever you are, be all there. I wonder now which way to face. I catch a vision of this place. Did we understand the footsteps in the sand? If, like Peter Lange, we don't want Templar thoughts and ideas to be lost, perhaps we need to better embrace those coming toward us, rather than observing with regret those walking away. I think the messaging on brand, our identity, and what we are trying to achieve is clear, even secure in having it heard. But are we comfortable in having it responded to and acted on? For our closing prayer, I refer to Dr. Francis McNabb, who's now a retired Uniting Church minister and fellow of the Jesus Seminar. And he wrote, "Today, not many people read the Psalms of the Old Testament. No wonder," he says, "we can't understand them." In his book, A Fine Wind is Blowing, he offers modern interpretations of some 70 of the Psalms. I have selected his reimagining of Psalms 133 and 134 as our closing prayer. And Ange has just popped it up on the screens. Our human scene is constantly disrupted by discordant views and divisive behaviour. People take up positions they firmly believe are right and lose respect for people who have taken up other positions. How different the world could be if people could live together and worship together. That would be like the magnificent transformation of the hills after a heavy downpour of rain. In such a dialogue of togetherness, the best humanity would emerge, and we would see something of what life is really about. Everyone would lift their hands in prayer and celebration. Come, all of you searchers of this higher purpose. Come and find that blessing of the God who is source and substance of this hope for our world.